So the next pandemic might be a multi-level situation. So we could be looking at this all wrong, guys. We could be seeing a multi-level outbreak with a few different diseases, if you will. And I don't think it's just going to be one that's going to lock us down again or put us in a really bad position. We're going to see multiples around the world, which is going to have multiple lockdowns all over the place. Now, the only reason why I'm coming to this suspicion, I don't want to say conclusion, and I don't want to say it's a definite suspicion, is that we are watching outbreaks all over the world. Everywhere around the world, there's something going on. There's also another side of me that thinks that maybe they raise these alarm bells too quick, or ring these alarm bells too quickly over one or two people passing away. There is that. Because of Mr. 19, now the media is always reporting anything that goes on, like the one guy that died from the bubonic plague in New Mexico. One dude. But they were raising alarm bells about that. They're also raising the alarm bells now about the bird flu. They said that this thing wasn't going to jump to humans. Now, and this is, years ago, and then maybe 2 years ago, they're like, oh, you don't have to worry about it, it's not going to jump. Now there are articles coming out stating that it could happen, and it could happen sooner than later. So now all of a sudden, the bird flu is concerned. Bad enough they found it in dairy cows in New Mexico, Texas, and I think Kansas. They found in the milk itself, not so much, or rather in the cows and in their milk. But again, they said it doesn't affect humans. So are they still going to serve that milk? Like, I don't know what the end game was of that. But nonetheless, guys, the bird flu, which was only for birds, is now jumping into mammals, which they said it couldn't do, now it's doing. We will see multiple diseases, even old diseases that we thought were either eradicated or died off, start making a strong comeback, as we're seeing with leprosy in Florida. We're starting to see other diseases pop up like measles, Candida auris, leprosy, like I said, a coughing outbreak in San Francisco Bay Area, foot and mouth in Frankfurt, Germany, monkeypox now reared its ugly head in Republic of Congo, tick-borne diseases are on the rise, bird flu and dairy cow, like I said before, in Texas, Kansas, and New Mexico, bubonic plague in New Mexico, diphtheria in Kano, Nigeria, whooping cough in Alberta, Canada, and the dengue fever in Puerto Rico. Not to mention a few other mysterious illnesses that are going on that people don't know what it is. You got people complaining of vomiting, diarrhea, back pain, severe fevers for no reason. People coughing, again, for no reason, the mysterious cough that they got going on in the Bay Area. Now, doctors are trying to say because we were all in captivity for 6 months to a year, depending on where you were in the world, that our immune system is reacting to these new germs. And I'm like, but that was 2-3 years ago. How 2-3 years people develop back their immune system is back to where it used to be for the most part. But doctors keep saying that, well, it was the fact that we were in captivity and we were locked down, and now people are coming back out in the world. We've been back out unless people are living in a fucking cave underground, we've been back topside and outdoors for about 3 years now. So that's not a good excuse. So that means, guys, that they're using an old excuse that would have made sense when we all just got back out of lockdown. When we all came back out, that would have made an excuse. That would have been a good excuse to use. To use that excuse now, 3 years later, makes no sense. So they are reaching. So again, there are interesting things happening and the different ailments popping up, and they're trying to figure out what it is, and they don't know what it is. And they're testing for all of these things, and nothing is popping positive. They're just like, we don't know what this is. Just go home, drink some Pedialyte, and you should be fine. So we have all of that going on, guys. Again, I could definitely see a multi-level event headed this way, without a doubt, because they are trying their best to control us. Because the World Health Organization wants that pandemic treaty. They want the pandemic treaty, which the pandemic treaty allows them to have full control over every country for every time there's a pandemic. or an outbreak of some kind, they get full control. So the CDCs or the CDC organizations in other countries, they have to refer to the World Health Organization, and the World Health Organization will give them a blanket, whatever it is, straight across the board. So that now the World Health Organization has control over those countries during a pandemic or medical emergency. They have full control. That is how you start the one world government, guys. You get full control. You do it by way of creating a problem and then telling people, well, the World Health Organization is running the show. We listen to them. The CDC has to give up their rights, and other CDCs around the world have to give up their rights to let the WHO tell them how to run their show. And the reason why I see a multi-level outbreak is because the WHO's not going to get the same thing all over the world, but they can definitely start different diseases and different outbreaks and have control all over the world and then shut everything down. And of course, out of their mouth, they're going to be like, well, we got to lock things down. Now, that's going to be an overreach, because there are states that will be like, no, we're not doing that. We don't care what the World Health Organization has to say. We're not doing that here in the state, because the states still have their individual control in regards to that. The object was to get every state on board. I don't think states are going to do that. So that's going to be a problem in itself. Anyway, guys, this is just something that it popped into my head as I'm reading new articles every day about a new something somewhere in the world. In fact, this was a little alarming. In Japan, they had their first human-to-human transmission of a tick-borne disease called, I think it's STFS. I think that I got that acronym right. I don't know what it means, but this is what the breakdown of it is, or the acronym means. And this is a red flag. How is a tick-borne disease now transmitted between human and humans? Now, a lot of us have our suspicions about ticks and where they were made and what diseases were put into them and then set out into the world. We have our reservations about that. But now in Japan, they had a tick illness spread from human to human. That's not good. Though these two doctors were around other people and they were the only two to catch it off a patient that had it, still, that means they're tinkering with shit, or they could be tinkering with this, or this could legitimately be something from a tick. That's a little alarming. We could see something like that here. Bad enough, they did say that this season we're definitely going to have more tick bites and more tick diseases because it was a warm winter and ticks thrive in warm weather, and it takes the cold to kill them and or drive them deeper into the ground. Everywhere in this nation, pretty much everywhere in this nation, had a warm winter. So we're definitely going to see more tick-borne diseases probably by the end of this year, because you get bit by a tick. You don't develop it right away necessarily. Some people do, and other people it takes a while for the tick-borne diseases to kick in, such as life. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.